Well, good afternoon, folks, and happy Easter. A bit prematurely because it's not Easter Sunday yet. It's a fantastic day here in North Lincolnshire. Bright, sunny, few clouds going over. So it means that it's, in my opinion, perfect biking weather. Not too hot, not too much glare. You can see where you're going. Fantastic. And I've been out on my Royal Enfield today, as I suspect many of you have too. Now, my day has been made even better by the arrival of a box by the postman. Now, I just want to give a special thank you to Len Hartley, who recommended changing my mirrors and really went beyond what one would normally expect. So thank you, Len. You know what I mean. So here we are. Here's my original equipment manufacturer, OEM mirrors. Excuse me. They're like a lot of parts on the bike. You know, we know it's an inexpensive bike to buy and corners have to be cut somewhere. But on the positive side, it's got a great engine. It's got alloy rims, stainless spokes, ABS brakes. It's got a counterbalanced main shaft. It's got a slipper clutch, fuel injection, to name but a few things. So there's every reason to be positive, but the peripherals, like the mirrors, in my opinion, are quite unappealing, which gives us scope to spend a few bob, not necessarily a huge amount, depends how far you go. One or two people have said recently, well, one person said, you know, I'm going to have to replace everything except the frame and the engine, which is not true. It's just the peripheral bits that keep the price down. Now, my existing mirrors were not a thing of beauty, as you'll see from these photographs. They're rusting, and as this next photo shows, my bike's 4 years old, the silvering's coming off the mirrors. You know, like these old mirrors you get from antique shops where you've got missing bits. So there it is. That's my mirror, one of the mirrors. Now, you can't really see it too well on that photo, but it'll be very apparent in others. It's rusting from the inside out. It's obviously thin chrome on mild steel and it's rusting, and there's water in there. So as I say, Len very kindly recommended these mirrors, and I was surprised to find they arrived this morning. What a pleasant surprise that was, to replace them. Now, Len had mentioned the fact that they don't increase the width of the bike, the bar end mirrors from Stadium, as you'll see in a minute. So that rather prolonged shot there is through the original mirrors, handlebar mounted, of course. You'll see in this next photo that's coming up just how poor they are after a very short space of time. That's not a value judgment, it's just a fact. I mean, look at that. That's a 4-year-old mirror. Now, I've never seen that on Japanese bikes that are 25, 30 years old, to be honest. I've seen it, as I say, in, you know, mirrors and antique shops, where you look at them and all the silvering's coming off the back. So that's one of the mirrors on the bike, and I had a long chat with Len on the phone, and he was very made up about mirrors he'd got, which you'll see later on in this video, and I shall give you my honest thoughts about them. So there's one mirror with all its silvering bit coming off, and this next photo shows the other side mirror. As you can see, it's coming off. Now, my experience from antique mirrors in general is that once the silvering starts to go, it goes. It just creeps along, you know. And I think the importance of mirrors is, as we all know as experienced motorcyclists, you've got to have adequate rear view vision. Now, these aren't, my mirrors, original ones, aren't dangerous, but I will say that the field of view in them is very small. Sitting on the bike, particularly, you know, changing lane in the roundabout, so you're on the inner lane and then you're going to move out to the outer lane to take the exit, you know, and obviously you look over your left shoulder, or the lifesaver look, as they say in CBT training these days. It's nice if your mirror can actually see a bit more. Now, if you look at this shot here, you can clearly see rust. That's rust juice coming from inside the mirror. I believe water gets in through the articulating knurled bit, you know, on the front where the mirror arm goes into the back of the head, back of the mirror shell. I think it gets in there, and my mirrors are particularly bad, both sides really. I've got rust on the actual arms as well, and that is obviously rust coming through from the inside. If you look at this next shot, you will see, look at that. I mean, that, it's not been bent, it's not been damaged. Okay, it's not been polished. Mea culpa on that one, as the Romans said. But, you know, you don't want to be, you shouldn't have to polish your mirror arms week in, week out, should you? I mean, I'd expect them to last a bit longer than 4 years, but that is quite horrible. I think you'll agree. Nobody would, excuse me, really want that on their bike, would they? I certainly didn't want it on mine. And this next shot shows another rusty bit. And that's on the other side, I think. And you can see there's a kind of crack in it, isn't there? There's like a seam. So, you know, not knocking the bike, as you know, I've got one and you've got one and we all love them, but you know, you've got to be realistic. A budget price bike has got to have certain budget price components which you can then replace and do it your own way, which makes these bikes really customizable, and everybody does their own thing, and that's good. I think it's a positive thing, really. I don't like that either. That is the vinyl-y, plasticky boot that goes over the adjuster lock nut, you know, for screwing into the handlebars. So it's got that weird plastic. It's not really great. It's a weird composition plastic. Cheap, I suspect. It gets all sort of dull looking and cloudy looking. So again, that's another attribute of the standard mirrors. There's another shot of a bit of the silvering coming off. As you can see, by the way, in that mirror, look at that lovely blue sky with clouds. But it's perfect. So I made having spoken to Len, really, I was sort of, and he mentioned these mirrors, replacement mirrors. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll get some. Well, I did, in a manner of speaking, because here they are. There's more rust. Small bit on that mirror shell. I've spoken to some people who say, oh, I like the original mirrors, I like the standard mirrors, which is fine. I mean, I'm not knocking them for... I'm just saying my mirrors are a mess, really, on a bike and I can't abide corrosion of any sort. So, in addition to the lovely sunny Easter Saturday, this arrived this morning. Now, as you can see, it's got a special delivery label on it. I was going to delay opening the box, but I thought, no, I'm going to actually crack on, open it up. So here we are. This is the unboxing of a pair of Stadium stainless steel, 100% stainless steel mirrors, which are, well, I'm not going to say it yet. I'll wait till the pictures come. So you open the box, the outer box, nicely packaged, plenty of that weird cardboard stuff, which if you've got a wood burning stove like I've got, in fact I've got two of them, it's great for starting the fire. So that's gonna be great for as kindling. That box turned up this morning, so with a great deal of excitement I opened it, and on the inside of that outer box was an inner box with the contents similarly protected with yet more kindling, I'm pleased to say. Here it is, here it comes, the inner box. As you can see, it says Stadium accessories on it in a kind of retro printed box. So it's well protected in transit. I believe these originated from Hitchcock's, so it's nice to know that they are adequately packaged. As a matter of interest, here's the outer box, very, very retro looking. I understand Stadium have been around for donkey's years. So there you go. You've got two types of handlebar end mirrors, either 7/8 and 1-inch bars. So you've got the mechanism that's on there is an expanding quill type mechanism, as you can see on that picture, and you tighten a bolt and it basically splays out, a bit like one of these plasterboard roll plug things. Now mine are not like that, because our bikes have an insert in the handlebars with a half moon on it, and that is what the end caps fit onto. I'll show you later. So here are two mirrors swathed in that kindling and then also covered in bubble wrap. So as my excitement mounted, I then removed the outer bubble wrap packaging to reveal, here it comes, bear with me, to reveal inside two fantastic stainless steel round, which is perfect, mirrors, as you can see in this photo. Look at that. I mean, come on. This all stainless steel, including the Allen bolts, the dome nuts, everything stainless steel. Well, if you're like me, if you like good things on bikes, or good things in general really, anybody looking at those is going to realise that they are in a different league from the OEM mirrors. So you've got if you look at the top mirror there on the left hand side of the arm, you'll see there's two discs held on by an elastic band so they don't fall off in transit, and one of those has got the half moon on it, which engages straight away into the insert in the handlebars of our bikes, so you don't need the quill fitting at all. There on that picture, bottom mirror, left hand side, you'll see the half moon fitting there. Now these mirrors articulate, they move up and down, as later on in this video I'll show you, which means if you've got restricted space trying to get your bike down a passageway or through your front door into your living room, then these mirrors retract basically. It also means that you can select a position that you're happy with for the mirrors. You can have them sticking out a long way, or you can have them tucked nicely in. They don't interfere with the brake or clutch levers. They don't get in the way when they're fully retracted as far as they'll go, which you'll see in subsequent photos. So for our bikes with standard bars, mine are stainless steel bars from Hitchcock's actually, and they have the half moon arrangement in. So as you can see there in the reflection in one of those mirrors, you've got like a little half moon bit that goes straight onto the end. It couldn't be simpler. It takes longer to adjust the mirrors to suit your individual taste than it does to put them on. Literally, it's just an Allen key, an M6 Allen key, and you need an M8 for the spring-loaded bit, which I'm going to go into later because I think it's quite important that the mechanism itself be greased. The system that allows you to retract the mirrors very, very easily. So if you look at that mirror there, you've got a nice gasket on the inside. Because it's stainless steel completely, you're not going to get rust like the picture I showed you before. The arms are solid stainless. It's all highly polished. This next shot shows the mechanism that allows the mirrors to basically flip up and down. So if you see that on that picture there, you've got the half moon look, and the central bolt, which is also stainless. So that half moon, if you've got standard bars or even stainless aftermarket bars like I've got, just check if you're thinking about buying these mirrors, just check that you've got the little half moon on the inserts in the handlebars. Mine did. The standard caps, end caps on the handlebars for the Royal Enfield have the half moon, so these just go straight on. It couldn't be simpler. You don't want the quill type where you tighten a bolt and it expands a quill inside, because it would mean trying to remove those inserts from the standard bars, and I suspect they're pressed in. They're very, very, very tight in there. So you need to get that half moon. That's very important when buying these mirrors. They know what you're talking about at Stadium because they've done it before. Now, there's a shot of the mirror. There's a nice Stadium logo etched into the shell there. You can see the Allen bolt on the right hand side, which I'm going to show later in this video. That has a spring underneath it, which I'll show you. And what you do is you basically put them onto your bar ends, and then you undo that Allen bolt, which is an M8, and tighten it slowly until you can still articulate the mirrors, but they're not sort of loosely waggling, if you see what I mean. So you just basically tighten it up as far as you can go that still allows them to retract, at which point they're absolutely solid. Here's another shot of the shell, and everything on it is stainless steel, which is right up my street, as you'll know from my Operation Stainless Steel on nuts and bolts and OCD obsessing about rust. That is exactly what's needed, in my opinion, for my bike, and I suspect many others. The mirrors themselves, you can twist them. So you can twist them from side to side. It alters the angle. And as I said before, you probably spend more time sitting on the bike and adjusting the mirrors, because obviously they can be sort of put further forward in the bars, or bring them back in the bars, or the arms move, or the mirrors move. So it's a question of really getting a position that you're happy with. This next photo shows the bolt bit. There you go, look. Which is good. I mean, it arrives with an elastic band round, you know, stop it damaging anything in transit. So there's the half moon, and that will locate straight onto the inserts in the handlebars. Absolutely perfect. This next shot shows a side view of the actual mirror itself on the arm. And as you can see, it articulates. It takes firm pressure to do it. It's not going to waggle about. Plus, with it having a dome nut on it, it can be tightened. Unlike the original mirrors on the bike, which are not. You can't tighten anything on those, can you? So these, you know, if it did reach the point where they've been adjusted so much that it's worn, which I doubt, then you can tighten that dome nut. This next shot shows a picture of the actual moving mechanism. I mean, look at that. That's polished stainless steel. The bolt that you can see is the one that goes into the handlebar insert. What I did, I always do it, I put a little bit of grease on that bolt, on the end of it, just so it goes in nicely into the, it's an alloy insert in the handlebars. So I just put a little bit of grease on it. And the other thing that I did, which I think is quite important actually, when articulating the mirror to bring it in or out, it's basically a sort of little lumpy cam thing. So what I did was, being me, I greased it. So if you look at that mechanism there, you've got raised indentations on the arm, and you've got corresponding ones on the bit that goes onto the handlebar clamp. Next to my rather dirty thumb is the central bolt, which is an M8 with a spring, and that's the one that when you put your, I put grease in there, not, you know, don't overdo it, just a reasonable amount of grease, and then you put the bolt and the spring back in and tighten it up. When it's on the bike, I found it was easier. This next shot shows another close-up of that cam thing, which allows it to articulate, as you can see in this photo here. So I think for that to be, obviously if you're going to retract your mirrors, they're going to move, aren't they? So I can't see metal to metal contact with no lubricant being necessarily good. And I tried them first without the grease, then put the grease in, and it's far better. It's just a real nice, well, it's really nice to do. Just move your mirrors. This next shot shows the M6 Allen key. The half moons have engaged in the inserts in the handlebars. Now again, that can be twisted forward, it can be twisted back. The permutations of the mirror are, effectively you've got the mirror can move itself on the stem. You've got the stem can move into a variety of positions left to right as you sit on the bike, and it can be altered by tilting it forward. And as Len said to me, you'll spend more time getting it just right for yourself. Entirely correct, Len, I have, but it's great because look at them. This next shot shows just tightening up the front bolt. Now these bars, these bar end mirrors, the good thing about these is they don't increase the width of the bike by more than about 15 mil either side, if that, because you've got your end caps on anyway, so you're not adding to the width of the bike. I might try it on my front door and wheel it into my living room, which is where any motorcycle really should be kept, I'm sure you'll agree. To keep them outside in the cold in garages is just plain cruel. So I might start a campaign online to say please keep your bike in your house, see how far it gets. But seriously though, it will go through the passageway at the side of my house, no problem at all. You're not increasing the width. The mirrors can increase the width, but you just pull them in. So this next shot shows the mirrors in a variety of different positions. It's like the Kama Sutra of the bike mirror world. There we go, look. So there they are. Now that's them stuck out a bit. They'll go another position further out, which would obviously increase the width of the bike. But again, they retract. So here we are. Side view. The thing I've got to do now is find some grommets of some sort to go into the threaded holes on the handlebar castings that the original mirrors went into. I think they're 9mm, which is, you just can't get Allen bolts like that, 9mm, and one of them's a reverse thread. The throttle side is a reverse thread, so I'm going to need to get some kind of decorative little clip-in chrome button type inserts or something. Here we are on the look at that from the front. Now I know bar end mirrors are not necessarily everybody's cup of tea. I do think they fit the bike. They're very era specific bar end mirrors. They were fitted to lots of British bikes in the old days when I was 40. So I think they're absolutely in keeping with the bike itself. Now this next shot shows again a different position for the mirrors, as you can see here. Sorry, that's the mounting bit. Yeah, imagine you can rotate that, you see. So that can be, at the moment it's sort of pointing to 4 o'clock, isn't it, that arm, the bit in the handlebar, but it could be twisted up. So you've got loads of permutations. It's just a question of basically coming up with something that you like. Now I will say that having been out on the bike, the rear view mirror vision is vastly better than the original mirrors, and therefore safer. But I think an important factor is they just look so flipping quality. I mean, look at that. Now that's with the mirrors in, look. Oh, you can see my head there, look, in the right hand mirror. I've always determined never to appear in my own videos because it's a bit narcissistic, these, when you sort of feature yourself as if you're a YouTube character. I don't like to do that. That's why nobody's really ever seen me in my videos. In fact, like a vampire, I tend to avoid mirrors altogether because I hate what I see in them. But there you go, you've got a top view of my head. I've normally got more hair than that. I've just had my hair cut so I can get my crash helmet on. So there we are, look, that's those mirrors now up, pointing in an upward position. I mean, they're just quality kit. They're just absolutely quality kit. They're not cheap, but then, nothing worth having ever is it really? People spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds, in fact more, on bike modifications, and you know, if it gives you pleasure, if it makes it nicer, why not? Hellfire, we're not here forever, are we? That's my philosophy on it. You know, if you're going to get something, just get it. If you can afford it without, you know, starving to death, then just get it, you know, and enjoy. So there's the mirrors. I quite like that position. They're quite far in. I'm going to give it a good test. I've been out on it with the mirrors like that, but I'm going to try various positions on it. But so in terms of build quality, they're absolutely fantastic. Really, really nice to look at, very tactile actually. You know, they're nice to feel. In a way, I was a bit disappointed having to fit them on the bike. I'd like to carry one round with me like a little pet. They really are nice though. And here is a video showing how they move, look. Now look at that, straight in. And there it goes, look. Right out there, you can be like a World War II plane with a great big wide wings on it. So very, very easy to adjust. Very, very nice with the grease on it particularly. And here's a shot of the bike with the mirrors on. I'm delighted with them. And as I said before, in addition to it being a lovely sunny bikey kind of day, I've got the added pleasure of taking out my Royal Enfield with those beautiful stadium mirrors on, which I think round is better than the oblongy shaped ones. So special thank you to Len Hartley for all his input on this little project. If you're out today, ride safe, and I hope to speak to you soon.